recording here. So we get that going. All right. Good morning again. So I'm going to share my screen here, show everybody where we need to be on Summit. All right. You again want to find our class, drama, and then page to stage is our project. All right. And then you should see newly assigned to checkpoint 2 right here. It says scene annotation. Okay. So you want to click that, and then you want to click the link up here in the box, and then it should bring you to a page that looks like this. All right. So I'll give everybody about a minute to pull that up if you're able to be on Summit right now. Um, if not, no worries. But if you want to follow along, all right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Hey, Jair. Hey, Kalia. Good to see you guys. So if you're just joining us, you can pull up Summit. We're going to kind of go over the next checkpoint real quick and then try to get through some more of uh, the movie, try to get close to finishing it. So again, head to Summit. You want to pull up our class, which is drama. Yes, Billy. Page to stage is our project. And then the new checkpoint you should see on there is checkpoint number 2, which has scene annotation. All right. And then if you click the link right here, it'll bring you to a page that looks like this. Okay. So this is what we're going to be working on. You guys are going to be working on over the weekend. That's going to count for our next progress report, our final progress report of the term. Okay. So you can see it says in this checkpoint, you will read a scene from Fences. Hey, Jairi, welcome. Again, real quick, we're pulling up checkpoint 2 on Summit for our class, which is the new checkpoint. I'm going over how to kind of run through that right now. All right. So, and again, we are recording, so this will be up on YouTube later today as well, if you want to get caught up there also. So you can see by the directions here in this checkpoint, you will read a scene from Fences and annotate it in depth in preparation for your scene analysis paper, which is going to be our final product. Right? The end goal of your annotations is that you have prepared ideas about word choice and theme. Let me see, we have some definitions for each one. Word choice being the specific word choice used in this scene and the ways in which the connotations of those words develops the plot or characters. And theme would be the way specific words help support a theme throughout the film. I kind of give guys a little hint here that for this part, you can use the theme statements that you put on checkpoint 1, which you should all have completed by this point, right? So if you've completed checkpoint 1 and you have some theme statements in here, and I've given you green feedback and you know they're good to go, you can kind of use those themes you put in there to help guide you with, what to look for as you do this checkpoint, okay? So a couple things here to know in the directions before we start this. All right, first of all, it says we want to annotate this scene that I have transcribed here. So who can tell me in the chat or coming off mute, what do you mean when we annotate something? What are we doing? And Zach, I just saw you're in the chat. If you can't, follow along on Summit at the same time because you're on your phone or anything like that for anybody, that's no worries. That's why we're recording, so you can go back and watch it on YouTube later. But hey, Ike, welcome. Who do we lose? Kalia, looks like. Right. So those of you who are just joining us, we're pulling up checkpoint 2 on Summit. All right. I'm kind of going over how to do this real quick. You can find it in our class on Summit. That should be under checkpoint 2 scene annotation. You click right here. Should bring a page that looks like this. Now we're just trying to kind of break down the directions. So when we annotate something, what does that mean? What are we doing? Anybody who can tell me that in the chat or come off mute and let me know? I'm sure you guys have heard that word before, especially in Miss Christina's class, if you hadn't heard.
Is it take notes?
It is take notes, yeah. Specifically, you want to kind of take notes on something you're reading. So you're kind of marking it up marking it up, maybe highlighting stuff, jotting down what certain things mean. Basically, just kind of means take notes as you go on something that you're reading. Thank you. All right. So that's what we're doing here when it says we're annotating. Then we also want to look at, the word choice, right? And this word here, connotations, might be a word that we have seen before, but maybe unsure of. If we're talking about the meanings of a word, and a word has a certain connotation, does anybody know what that means off the top of their head? Have we heard that before? Recognize it? Have any idea what that could mean? Again, you can tell me in the chat or come off mute. But I say this word has a negative connotation or it has a positive connotation. What do I mean? What am I talking about there?
Something evolved around the story.
Not the walls around the story, but I know what you're. I know what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. But think about, okay, if we have a word that has, a denotation and connotation when we talk about the meanings of words. And denotation would be, kind of like the written down dictionary definition. Connotation would be something else, and that's where we say, oh, that word has a negative connotation, or that word has a positive connotation. So what are we kind of talking about then when we mention stuff like that? Any thoughts or ideas? For example, if I said, this person is lazy, right? By definition, it just means maybe they're a little tired or whatever. But when we hear it, the emotions or the kind of thoughts we associate it with might be like, okay, this person is irresponsible. This person maybe doesn't care a lot.
Oh yeah, okay, I know what connotation means.
Yeah. So
So lazy is the bad connotation. It's like it's another word saying lazy as a good connotation. Like what's another word for lazy?
maybe you could say, oh, they're just a little tired or something like that. But I get what you're getting at, Jair. Yeah, it's the emotional response we have to the word, right? So not what it literally means, but the emotions and kind of the ideas it makes us think of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and every word kind of has one of those. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative, right? Like if I say, oh, this person's really frugal. They budget their money really well. Okay. But if I say, oh, this person's a little cheap, now that has kind of a different connotation. Like maybe, maybe we think, oh, this person doesn't like to pay for stuff. Maybe they're a little rude, right? So we can see the difference. So as we annotate this scene and take notes, that's what we're going to be looking for. All right. Now, the scene we have transcribed here is a scene we've all already watched if you've been in class. I wanted to pick a scene that everybody who has been in class will have seen so far, because I know not everybody has access to the movie outside of class. Right. But again, you can always get caught up on the movie with me in afternoon labs. But if you've been in class, then you should have seen this scene already. It's the scene where Corey kind of asks Troy, his dad, how come you've never liked me? And then he gives him that speech about doing right by somebody and having a responsibility to do all those things and that sort of thing. So if you remember that from watching the film, that's the scene we have transcribed here. And so as you annotate this scene, you're going to look for these two things. So for example, if I was doing this myself and I just start at the top and kind of read through, and Troy says, what the hell you want to ask me? Mr. Stwicky, the one you got the questions for. And the course says, how come you ain't never liked me, right? I could start even with that phrase there, right? The words Corey chooses to use when he says, how come you ain't never liked me, right? So if I'm annotating this on Summit, maybe I would go up here and I would highlight this, okay? And then when we annotate something, we, like I said, we want to kind of take notes and we want to kind of jot down, what all these things we're highlighting mean. So I can do that here and I could say, the words Corey uses here imply that Troy's character seems how does, if you had never seen anything else in this movie and we were just kind of looking at this scene and you kind of, saw Corey ask him like that, how come you had never liked me? What does that imply about how Troy's character seems, in general? Does he seem like he's a nice guy? Does he seem like he's a caring parent? Does he seem like maybe not so much? What do you think? Okay, I'm glad we got Kanai and Kalia back. Thank you. So how does, again, if we didn't know anything else about the movie and we were just looking at, this kind of dialogue here, and we've highlighted this part, right? And we're trying to now annotate it, how does the way Corey kind of phrases this question and the words he uses, what do they imply about Troy's character and how he seems? What do we think? What do we think? Does the words Corey use here imply that Troy seems like he's kind of a lovable, caring parent, or do they seem like maybe it's something else? This thing again, you can come off mute, or you can tell me in the chat. But again, y'all gotta help me help you. And this is a two-way street here with participation. What do we think? How does Troy seem? If we didn't know anything else about the movie and we just saw him ask that question in that way with those words here, how come you ain't never liked me? What does that seem to imply about Troy as a character? Does it seem to imply that he is a great dad and he cares and loves Corey a lot and shows his affection? Or does it seem to imply that maybe he's not so much that way? Maybe he's a little more cold and distant. Which one of those do you think is a better choice? Somebody can help me out here with this. I know we got a thought out there somewhere.
He showed a lot of discipline. His dad do.
Shows a lot of discipline, right? So how does how does he seem towards Corey? Like he is super loving and affectionate, or maybe the opposite?
The opposite.
Definitely, maybe a little bit more cold and distant, right? Distant, maybe unloving, right? And so that's what annotating this should look like. We're looking at these specific words or phrases that kind of inform us about how the characters seem, what's happening in the plot, or maybe what some of the themes are that we've seen in the film. And again, to help you out with that part, you can look at the theme statements in checkpoint 1, right? Right here, if you've done this, okay, which you should already have completed by this point, okay? And so this checkpoint is what you're going to be working on over the weekend. I'd like to see this by Monday so that I can put it on our final progress report, okay? Questions about that checkpoint, what to do, where to find it, all right? And I know if it's a lot, me going over it right now, you can always come see me in the Summit Lab if you want to get some more kind of one-on-one directions or explanation with that stuff. I'll be in there today from 1 to 3. Be more than happy to go over it with you guys. All right. But questions off the bat right now about that checkpoint and what we're doing with that.
You say you taking questions right now?
Just if you have a question about the checkpoint that I was just going over, like
Yeah, so I had left for a little bit, so I don't really know what it is.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I know I did see your connection kind of went in and out, Kanaya. So um I do want to keep moving here. So rather than going over the whole thing again, um you can watch the YouTube recording that'll be up later today of this class. And then if you also want to come to the Summit Lab later this afternoon, we can kind of go over it one-on-one. I'd be happy to help you out there too. But basically, what you're doing is, and I'll share my screen here again. Okay. Basically, what we're doing is we are reading through this scene from the movie that we're watching, and kind of annotating it. Taking note, highlighting stuff, taking notes, looking for these two specific things. Word choice that develops the plot and characters, and stuff that informs the theme, right? Or a theme. Okay, that's the basic gist. All right. So like I said, if you have more questions about that, you can see me in the lab or shoot me an email. We can go over it kind of in more detail. All right. But for now, what I want to do is try and continue with some more of the film so we can kind of get caught up with this and hopefully finish, if not today, then by Monday. So what we're going to pick up here, if you don't remember from last week, is we know Troy has been um, promoted to a driver at the garbage company, and now he's kind of starting to try and build that fence outside. And we're thinking about that metaphor of, okay, do you build fences to keep people in or to keep people out, right? And which of those things is Troy doing? Is he building his emotional fence to keep people in or keep people out, right? And he's about to kind of share some news with Rose that might change everything here. So we're going to pick up from here. I'm going to mute my screen while we watch. All right. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. All right. And I want to try to get through as much of this as we can. So we're probably going to take this right up until we're ready to leave, and then we'll kind of recap everything when we come back next class. All right. So here we go. Let me pause my recording so we don't recording here. So again, working on checkpoint 2 over the weekend, going on the last progress report. If you missed my explanation of that, you can catch it on the recording. That'll be up on YouTube later today. But you're just annotating that scene, looking for word choice that's informing stuff about the plot and the characters, and stuff that's supporting the themes that you used for your first checkpoint. Okay. If I still don't have checkpoint 1 or the web quest, make sure you get me both of those as well. All of those will be going into the last progress report, as well as participation in attendance, as always. Okay. Questions about anything, what we have to do, what's due for the progress report. If you have a question, now is the time. All right, cool. If you would like some more one-on-one directions about the checkpoint, or you're confused on any of that, you can come see me in the Summit Lab. I'll be in there today from 1 to 3. Also shoot me an email, and I'll be sending out some reminders over the weekend about what is due. Okay. I don't want to get into the movie because I want to wrap that up on Monday, and then we can talk about it then. All right. Questions about anything else before we go? No, everybody's good. All right, y'all. Great job. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy this nice weather. And I will be updating people's summits between now and Monday as well, so that your colors will be up to date. All right. Thank you guys. Good job, and I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.